about our colleagues using it, or we wait until we see it printed up in journal articles from time to time before we actually grasp onto whether that's a new medicine, a new technique, a new diagnostic tool, and so on and so forth. So this would be along that same line. They may need to see you and talk to you a couple times before they give you the, okay, I think we can do that. And so don't give up on them. Just keep it short, keep it simple.
Victoria, this is Nancy. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I just want to tell you that when you talk about being a peddler, we appreciate everything that you do, and our time is running short here. So I would like for you to tell everybody about the superstar that you brought aboard in the business. So sometimes our peddlers, our great people in the field, become superstars through recruiting other people.
Well,
so could I get you to introduce her and get her on in a minute?
I sure will.
Oh, you doll. Thank you.
My next sentence is that I'd like to introduce to those of you who have not met Carol Burrell. Carol is a young lady that I met attending a networking meeting. She was Rolf Massage, ROLFE, and it just so happens she's heard my spiel at our meeting, and then one of her clients actually wearing our bra. To the familiarity, Carol then emailed me for a bra fitting and became a bra fitter. So without further ado, here's Carol. Carol there?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Victoria. Good
You're welcome.
Everybody. Nancy asked me to talk about kind of what to expect in dealing with professional people who might be interested in the business. And she asked me to do this because I come from a professional background. I hold a master's in business administration, a master's in organizational development. I was a management consultant for 15 years, and that was followed by another 8 years where I managed the foreclosures at Freddie Mac. Not a job I'd like to have right now, where I was managing several hundred employees. And then following that, I did some overseas development work in the Middle East and Asia. But despite all of this background, I love being in the bra business now more than anything else I've ever done. But if you told me a year ago I was going to be in the bra business, I would have told you you were out of your mind. But my husband is active with me in the business because early on he saw what a tremendous product it is, and he can't even experience, the product himself personally. He attended the business training with me and attends many of Mary Black's rallies. He spoke this weekend's rally on how to market to fitness facilities. So he handles a lot of my administrative tasks and does a great deal of my marketing. He has a sales and marketing background and said this is the easiest marketing he has ever done. He has me booked out solid 6 weeks ahead at facilities like Curves, large gyms, community centers, and retirement communities. Women get a charge out of the fact that a man is telephoning her to remind her of her bra fitting appointment the night before. I had one woman tell me this week that she was going to schedule another appointment to buy a bra for me just so she could hear my husband's sexy voice remind her of her appointment. Anyway, he really does have a great voice. When I first learned about the business, as Victoria mentioned, I was I'm a role for, I think, massage therapy, for lack of a better description. And I had been approached numerous times by other network marketing people suggesting that I should be selling their products. Not interested. I couldn't get any passion for cosmetics or nutrition products that competed with so many things out there in the market. How could I differentiate myself? But one day last August, I had some of my clients tell me they wore these bras and swore by them. And as Victoria mentioned, they had been fitted by Mary Black a year before. And I realized that the bras might be a nice complement to my existing business because I deal with, it's like a postural therapy. So I decided to do the business even before I got fitted. So I got Victoria fit me, met Mary 2 days later, and signed on as a distributor immediately. And I never looked back. My first sale was September 9th. On October 15th, my husband told me that I had sold $10,000 in retail. I guess I was in the bra business. So how does a professional businesswoman think about the business, and what questions will she have that you should be prepared to answer as compared to presenting the same opportunity to a woman who has been, say, a stay-at-home mom, or a woman who has had little experience dealing or thinking about the numbers? Well, first and most importantly, she will recognize quite quickly the uniqueness of the product and how recession-proof it is. She'll gravitate to the business based on the fact that it doesn't compete with anything else out there. She will choose the business not in love of the product, as in I love this bra and how it feels, even though she may feel that way, but because it is a unique product with no competition and is a market second to an undertaker, as my husband likes to remind me. She will have a much more detached view of the business. I currently have 3 potential recruits, and one signed on today, who have sought me out for this very reason. I actually did not approach them. They were referred by someone else who had observed me fitting at their facility. None had been fitted prior to approaching me. Each of these women is looking at how this product will enhance, complement, or replace some of her existing business that is now going away due to the recession. What is the synergy? Second, women with business backgrounds will want to know up front much more about the compensation plan and how to get the most out of it right from the start. She may have already looked at the compensation plans of other network marketing organizations, so she will be able to grasp more quickly what is different or better than others she has looked at. Ask her how she sees it as better. Get her to verbalize it, because it is better. She will also want to know what will happen if someone on her team gets catapulted ahead of her. She'll want to know how she'll be compensated. I currently have a woman who's asking me those questions. Help her see the big picture, helping people help themselves. Third, women with business backgrounds think in big pictures. She may look beyond the 1 or 2 small parties a week, which has been the lifeblood of this business, to settings where she can do a larger number of fittings with a single trip. In the door once and out the door once, doing 10, 12 people at a time. She doesn't think about this amorphous women's market. She has a more laser-focused mind. Instead, she thinks about marketing niches and something that she can replicate and work systematically, be it fitness centers, women's clubs, red hat societies, church groups, salons, or whatever. She will be looking to hear you say how quickly she can be earning income. She will need hard, clear examples on what works, but that should be easy for all of us. Fourth, she'll ask many questions about the company in terms of, the reliability as to shipping, defective products, accounting, online orders, just, support in general. She should be pleased to hear that Jeunique has been in business 50 years and it's not a new multi-level marketing company. Fifth, she'll want to hear you talk in business terms, like how best to get financial leverage and how many times your inventory will turn. Perhaps she'll want to hear about inventory financing. She'll be asked, what's really the best amount of inventory to start? And, of course, that typically is a tough question, and we've been told to say, what can you afford? What do you have available to spend? And instead, my answer is, how quickly do you? And then I use myself as an example. I happen to be one of the lucky people who was able to use some of my home equity because I happen to have a home with a lot of equity. Some people don't have that. And so for a very small interest cost per month, I can generate $10,000 in retail sales. Now that's leverage. I also repeat what Mary Black has repeatedly said. You limit your sales if you limit your inventory. A businesswoman will hear that. She will understand how important it is to have the woman go home wearing it. And finally, she will also ask you a lot of business entity questions like, what is your form of business? What about business licenses, insurances? So you should be prepared to answer those questions. The questions from these women may be harder or easier for you to deal with than with a woman who comes from a non-business background. And primarily the reason will be that they are willing to invest more at first to get started because they can see the advantages. They just want to feel comfortable that this is a company they can trust with their investment, that they can get the business support they need, and that the money is there quickly. Just answer the questions, and they will see this as a low-risk, high-reward business. Anyway, those are some of my thoughts. Thank you for listening, and I guess we should open it up to see what others have to say.
Thank you so very, very much, Carol and Victoria. Mary Black, you've got to be sitting there, and Jeannie